Hello, we are about to begin our first lesson in Advanced Math 7, and we're going to start with the second lesson of the book. Now, I know most of you have not picked up your textbooks yet, but that's okay. I'll provide everything you need in today's lesson. So what you see right here in front of you is a note sheet that I've created, and all my note sheets this year look like this. Let me just scan through it. It says Advanced Math 7 Notes. It says it's the Bruins. And you can see that it goes all the way down. Now, for you as an advanced student, you need to either have a piece of binder paper or a notebook, something where you can take notes in, you can keep them, and you can write these notes down on that note if you don't have a printer or something. Or you can be in the assignment and I've included this copy for you and you can print it out at home and use it that way. There's one other option you can do. I don't know how to do it, but you could save a copy of these notes and then type in them yourself as you're listening to the notes. So that's three things you can do. The first one was on binder paper. The second was print this one out and follow along with it. Or the third one is digitally make a copy and take notes digitally along with the notes. So it's up to you. If you have another way that you like to do it, that's fine. The only thing I'd like to really encourage you not to do is to just think, oh, I'll remember this stuff. Now, some of it is easy, and some of the stuff that you know probably already, some of it's review, but do not make the mistake of thinking, I think I'll just retain this information without writing anything down. You're going to get to your first quiz, you're going to get to your test in 3 chapters, and you're going to be like, wow, I am not sure what I'm doing, and you're not going to like that feeling. So I do encourage you to take notes. All right, so this is chapter. Oh, it says a chapter up here, and that's from your book. And this is the title of the chapter. It's called The Language of Algebra. And we're in lesson 2, and we're doing words and expressions. Okay, there will always be an essential question up here. They are much the same all the way through the whole chapter. And this says, how can you use numbers and symbols to represent mathematical ideas? And then you have 2 columns. You have questions and cues, and you have notes. Okay, those are the 2 columns you have on every note paper. This is how we take notes at Alta Sierra. It's an avid style of doing so. Okay, this first column right here, questions and cues. A cue is something like this. It's going to tell you what a numerical expression is. A question is something that you write down. So as you're taking notes, as you're listening to the lesson, you may want to pause and rewind or go back and listen to something again if you didn't catch it, or maybe you were daydreaming, which I do a lot myself. Okay, so if you have a question and you're not getting it answered or your mind's going deeper than what the lesson is doing, you want to make yourself a little question in this box. That way, when we have our Zoom sessions, you can remember to ask that question. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. This says numerical expression. What is a numerical expression? It's a number sentence that contains a combination of numbers and operations. The 4 operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, we use a dot, and division. And what is a mathematical phrase? It's a sentence that contains only words to express a number sentence. Okay, moving down, we'll practice those 2 things here in a little bit. Translating a mathematical verbal phrase into a numerical expression takes a good listening ear. Here are some examples. Now I'm going to show you this example. It says mathematical phrases, or also known as verbal or word phrases. I know we have numbers in here, but I did not want to write the number in its word form. So I want to make it shorter for these boxes. Okay, so what I'm going to ask each of us to do is we're going to go through this right here. It says difference of 15 and 10. You'll notice that just in a little bit, the video will pause and then a multiple choice or open answer or some sort of question or idea will pop into your screen. You're going to answer it, okay, and then you say, okay, move on, and then it will come back to the video, and then we will talk about this, and you want to make sure that you're getting it right. The reason why we're doing this is that I want to make sure that you guys are following along and you're thinking through these processes before it happens. So let's go ahead and try this one. Difference of 15 and 10. The video will stop now. Okay, you are back now, and you have written something in here, and the difference of 15 and 10 is 15 minus 10. The next one says 3 less than 5. All right, you've taken a look at 3 less than 5, and 3 is less 3 less than 5. So what do we begin with? We begin with our 5, and we're going to take 3 away from it to get 3 less than 5. The next one is 85 decreased by 3 times the sum of 2 and 7. All right, you're back. And this says 85 decreased by, that's your first little phrase in there, 3 times the sum of 2 and 7. So where do we need to start? We need to start way down here. We need to find the sum first. So we go 2 plus 7 inside parentheses, and then it says to multiply 3 times the sum. All right, so 3 times the sum of that group inside the parentheses. And then at the very beginning, it says 85 decreased by. Decreased by is you're taking something away. What are we taking away? We're taking away all of this. So it's 85 decreased by. And the last one, 4 more than the difference of 6 and 8. All right, you see here 4 more than, so we're adding 4. Now be careful on this one. So some students would say this is correct, 4 plus the difference of 6 and 8. So you take the difference of 6 and 8, 6 minus 8, and you do that first. That's not right. It will have the same answer as what the phrase is saying, but that's not what this phrase is saying. Be careful with right here. It says more than. So the right way to do this one is you take the difference of 6 and 8 first, 6 minus 8, and then you take 4 more than that. So you'll take this, and then you'll add 4 to it. Now, if you wrote it like this, that will work too, because order of operations will get you there. But this one right here is the best. All right, so let's move down to order of operations. It says to evaluate or simplify an expression, use order of operations to find the numerical expression's value. In mathematics and computer programming, the order of operations, or also known as the operator precedence, is a collection of rules that define which procedures to perform first in order to evaluate a given mathematical expression. Now, this is very important. I know you've learned this in elementary school, and here are 2 types that you've learned. You've either learned PEMDAS or GEMS. I'm sure most of you can identify one with one of those or the other. If not, that's fine. Now, before we move into, well, I'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and go here. I have 4 bullet points here, so let's look at these carefully. Do everything inside and attached without an operation sign. The grouping symbols first. So these right here are called parentheses. So make a little category here. Those are called parentheses. The next ones are called brackets. The next ones are called braces. The next ones, these sticks, looks like the number 11. They're a little bit longer though. Those are called absolute value bars. Also, I just call them bars. And then this last one right here is a division bar. And those are 5 different types of grouping symbols you will see. Now you're used to just seeing this first one and possibly the bracket. The other 3 you're probably not too used to seeing or even knew that division bar was a grouping symbol. All right, let's go down to the next bullet. Then do exponents. So this little x right here is an exponent. Let me highlight that. Exponent here, exponent here, exponent here. And in chapter 4, we'll be learning a lot about exponents. Pretty fascinating, fun stuff to do. So we'll get there and that will be fun. Then the next thing it says, then do multiplication and division from left to right, and then do addition and subtraction from left to right. Now, I would strongly recommend you just learn order of operations and you just know how it works. Now, to learn order of operations and know how it works, some teachers use PEMDAS and GEMS. Let me tell you why I don't agree with either one. This first one says to do parentheses. Now, are there other types of grouping symbols? There are. Do they all start with P? No. That's why I don't like that. Then it says exponents, which is fine. That next step would be dealing with exponents. Then it says multiplication and division from left to right, and it makes sense. M comes before D. But you know what? Sometimes students have something that looks like this, like a problem that says 5 divided by um, 2 times 3, and they will do multiplication first because they see the m first. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be left to right, just like it says, just like you learned. You probably don't have a problem with this, but I have seen students always do multiplication before division, and they're not paying attention to the left or right rule. And the same thing goes for addition and subtraction. I see kids messing it up. I see adults messing it up too. Now, going over to GEMS, GEMS is better. It's got a G for grouping symbols, not just a P for parentheses. So I like that. It has the E, but then you have just multiplication and just subtraction. And I've actually seen some students get, like, they don't know when to do the division, they don't know when to do the addition because it's not mentioned here. So adding and, and dividing, not mentioned. Um, so those are I mean, it's not a big deal, but I see students like messing things up because they're following PEMDAS or GEMS, and they're not really familiar with actual order of operations. And you can see there's a lot more to it than just PEMDAS and GEMS. Okay, now it's time to practice. Write a numerical expression for each verbal phrase. Again, pause the video and you'll do number 1, and then I think I'll try to do all 3 together and then I'll come back to you. Okay, you're back. And it says, on number 1, it says the cost of 10 yo-yos if each costs $3. So this would be a good way to go 10 yo-yos times 3. That would work. Or you could write it as 10 times 3. That would work. Or you can go 10 times 3. That's another way to do it. What I would not want to see is you doing this. We're in algebra now, so when you put that time sign, it's going to start getting confused with the variable x. So we want to shift ourselves to the dot. Okay? And don't make the dot too low because it's going to look like a decimal. All right, number 2, let's see what you should have done here. The number of students in each group if 15 students are divided into 5 equal groups. So we have 15 students, and we divide it by, oops, I said the answer, that's not right. Divided by 5, and that's going to be 3. Okay, you could do it like that. You could do it like this. Either way. Number 3, it says the amount of money Nina earned if she mowed the lawn for $15 and walked the dog for 4 hours. All right. So what are we doing here? We want to know the amount of money Nina earned if she mowed the lawn for $15 and walked the dog for $4. I think I said hours at the first time. So $15 and $4. We put those together, 15 plus 4. All right, some of you might have wrote 4 plus 15, which is the same answer. That's actually a property. It's called the commutative property. But this is not saying what the phrase is. This is the one that you would want. All right, and now we're going to go down and I'll give you these 3 things on the check multiple choice type answer thing too. On your notes, I would like you to write each of these down and try them out and make sure you're showing all of your steps and then coming back and seeing if your steps look like mine, you have the right answer. Okay, we're back with example number 4. So you can see here, if you use PEMDAS, some students might come down here and do multiplication first. But both we're looking at division and multiplication, so we're all the way down to doing multiplication division from left to right. So I like to circle things that I'm working on, so that way you as a student can see what I'm thinking. I'm looking right at 24 divided by 3. I get 8. I move down the times 9, and now I'm working on the 8 times 9, and I get 72. This next one, I see 2 times something inside these brackets, and inside these brackets I see a pair of parentheses here and parentheses down here. So I'm going to stay inside the bracket, and I'm going to look for something else to do. Parentheses come first, that's the first grouping symbol you want to do. So 10 minus 3, so this is my focus right here, and 10 minus 3 is 7. I will move down all of these items. Okay, I still have a parentheses inside the bracket here. That's 6 times 5, which is 30. Missed my 7. And now I'm inside the bracket still. And 7 plus 30 is 37. Keep my brackets. I haven't used them yet. And now finally I have multiplication. 2 times 37 is 74. And the last one. Remember the division sign is a grouping bar. You can see it happening here. When you see the division bar as a grouping symbol, you want to start from the top and move to the bottom. And you want to be working left to right. So my first thing to do is right here. 19 minus 7 is 12. Then I'm working on the bottom. And 25 minus 22 is 3. And now I'm working right here. 12 divided by 3 is 4. All right. So we're going to come down here and we're going to start our assignment. Now, I'd like you to do your assignments on binder paper, so that way you're writing pencil onto paper. It's the best way for your mind, but doing things digitally, not the best. If you're doing it with a stylus pen like I'm doing right now on your computer, that's fine. That's something you can do, you can save, you can turn in as well. You'll see the assignment here in a little bit. I will show it to you, but I want you to always take your paper like we learned on Tuesday, Wednesday classes. I want you to put your first name up here. So my first name is Tad, my last name is Croker. I'll put the date here, 8, it's Thursday, so I say 8/20/2020. And my period, since I am not in a specific period, I'll put period 0, but you put your period. Then you're going to put the full title right here. Now, where we find the full title? Excuse the bell. The full title is located right here. Okay? Okay, so it's TB PG point 9, that's page 9, numbers 12 through 29. So then I'll go back, TB page 9, numbers 12 through 29. I got the full title up there. All right, and then I'll just come down on my binder paper, maybe a space here, and I'll just put number 12. I like to circle them. Some of you guys put boxes, clouds, something. Do something to signify that that's your first number. All right, so what is the first one? The first one, if I go back to my assignment that you're going to have on Google Classroom, it's going to say write a numerical expression for each verbal phrase. So number 12 says the height difference between 14 and 9 inches. The height difference. Okay, between 14 and 9 inches. So I'll go back to my paper and I'll say 14 minus 9. That's going to give me the difference. All right, and then I could work myself going down. I could do 13 here, or I can move over here and do 13 here, whatever system that you want to do. So you can go to the right, or you can go down, however you like to organize, but make sure you have a nice organized system. Some of you guys come from elementary school and you guys have an answer column over here. This is not needed because you will be grading your own papers. Oh, not, I don't know why I wrote ended. Not needed. Okay? All right, I'm going to skip down. I'd show you how to do number 12. I'm going to skip down all the way down to number 18. 18 says 3 times 6 minus 4. So I'll go back to my thing here. And I've done all these numbers, and now I'm on number 18, and I can't remember what it was. So it's 3 times 6 minus 4. 3 times 6 minus 4. And then I'll use the same method I was doing in the notes. I have multiplication, I have subtraction. I know in order of operations that multiplication comes before subtraction. That's going to be 18. I'll move everything down. And now I'm on 18 minus 4, which is 14. 14 is my answer. All right. And then I still, if you guys are using the vertical, you'll go down here to 19. Or if you're using the horizontal, you'll go over here to do 19. Okay. It's best to try to fit all your work on one side of the paper. It's easier for me to look at when you turn it in. So that's how you set up your tape paper. And excuse me, let's go over to the quiz. No, I shouldn't have said it's a quiz. It's going to say it's a quiz, but it's actually going to be an assignment. All right. So at the top, you can see what textbook pages. I went to the textbook, took a snapshot of it, and inserted it into the top here. Now, when you do 12, 13, all the way to 29 on your binder paper, come back to this and open it up for your assignment and come down here and then write in your answer. So right here, I will open this up and I'll put in my answer. So I'll go to my thing and I'll say, what was it? 14 minus 14 minus 9. Okay, that's all I'll leave it. I'll just leave it like that. And I'll go down to number 12 and I'll open it up and put my answer in there. And I'll do that all the way down until I get to the bottom. And when I'm happy with all the things that I've entered, I'll press submit. Okay, so that will be your assignment. And all this stuff's up here. Please do it on binder paper because I'm going to have you take a picture of it and load it as well. All right, that's it for the video, I think.